I want to talk about one very specific argument against the cage dive industry. This is not an argument for or against cage diving. This is an examination of whether or not people actually know what they're talking about when they start saying these things. Chumming and baiting sharks near shore will alter the behavior and thereby endanger people at popular swimming beaches. What swimming beaches and near shore areas are you talking about? The closest one by far is Seal Island in Mossel Bay. And that one is admittedly kind of close, or at least compared to the other ones, but not a single bite has ever taken place on the popular swimming beach near there. That is next to a white shark hunting ground. Forget whether or not anyone is chumming or baiting. There's seals there, and a huge congregation of seals and a huge congregation of white sharks, and no one has ever been bitten there. That is not a testimony for the cage dive industry. That is a testimony for sharks and their ability to know the difference about what they want and don't want. So there we are out at Seal Island in Mossel Bay, chumming and baiting these sharks, admittedly. And at least the land is kind of far away. But guess what we see when we come back to shore and are pulling into the harbor? Fish guts, chum, being dumped over the side of a boat, down the tubes, down the cleaning canals, whatever you call them, on all of these fish boats. But that's not a problem. It's the people chumming out at the island that are endangering people. In any case, let's jump over to Australia, where people complain about cage diving out at the Neptune Islands, which is nowhere near anything. But what you do have is Port Lincoln. Guess what happens in Port Lincoln? A huge tuna industry where they go out and rape the ocean, haul in all these tuna that are trying to migrate past there, bring them into the bay in these huge seine nets, and then they have these tuna corrals there. There are literally thousands and thousands of living and dead and dying and decaying tuna in the bay, which, by the way, guess what cage dive boats like to use for bait? Tuna. So if you think white sharks don't like tuna, you're dead wrong. So here is a bay filled with dead and dying tuna scent. Guess what else is coming in for that tuna? Seals, sea lions. They have been found in those nets in the bay. They have also found white sharks there. Fishermen are bringing white sharks into the bay for their industry. But no one has a problem with that. But there's a problem with cage diving all the way out at these remote Neptune Islands where no one lives. I repeat, they are bringing in not one, but two of the white shark's favorite food items, by means of the tuna that they actively target and by means of the pinnipeds that follow the tuna or are actually caught in the seine nets accidentally. These animals arrive in the harbor in various states of health, some alive, some dead, some decaying, some good, but all 100% sending out a scent trail. The only thing that could make it worse is if they started whaling and hauling the carcasses into the harbor. Then they would have all three of the white shark's favorite food items. Well, this is madness. How can this be? Why isn't anyone doing anything about it? Because it's fishermen. You can't question fishermen. Fishermen are good people. When one really big tuna is valued at $250,000, you no longer have fishermen, you have mob kings. And this particular mafia has already threatened locals who tried to make noise about this in the past. True story.